Hi, my name is Alicia. Welcome to my channel, Talk Tirzepatide with Alicia. In this episode or in this video, I am going to share my success with Tirzepatide because it is working, my friends. It is working. I am 70 days into my Tirzepatide journey and I have lost a total of 16 pounds, which is awesome. I'm having a lot of success. I'm experiencing all sorts of different symptoms, and just overall, it's just an experience in itself. It's almost like every week you learn a little something new. You find that you have to manage things a little bit different. So today, I'm going to go ahead and share 10 different things that I've experienced and what I've done to overcome some of the unpleasant symptoms. Okay, number one. I am not a doctor in any way, shape, or form, but I am very glad that I went to my doctor. Initially, I didn't. And it's a game changer when you are working with your primary doctor because you have somebody you can talk to about the symptoms and the things that you're experiencing. You have someone who is an advocate for your needs. Initially, I could not afford the Wegovy shots that were prescribed to me by my doctor, but she told me she works with a compound pharmacy and she was able to get me the Tirzepatide injections at a fraction of the Wegovy cost. And whenever I need a prescription, all I have to do is reach out to my doctor and she is there. And in addition to that, your doctor will request that blood work be done. So they are watching the numbers. They're watching the serious numbers that need to be managed and really looked at by your doctor. So I'm not a doctor, but I'm really glad I went to one. Okay, number two, it's okay to stay at the 2.5 milligram initial dosage. When you start Tirzepatide or a GLP-1, your doctor will start you on the 2.5 milligram dosage. Over time, you are supposed to increase that dosage amount, 5 milligrams, 10 milligrams. I don't think you ever go over 10 milligrams. But anyways, I'm 70 days in and I have never gone over 3 milligrams. And that's okay. I really just listen to my body's needs. There is going to be a point where I might need to increase my dosage, but right now I am sticking at 3 milligrams and we'll see how that works out. Number three, it is so difficult to remember to drink water. This is weird to me. I've never had this experience. I've been on all sorts of healthy journeys, Weight Watchers, Optavia, keto, you name it. I've done it all. And drinking water has always been the key. And it's always been really easy for me to remember to drink water because I love water. But on Tirzepatide, for some reason, I cannot remember to do the one thing that is probably the most important thing, and that's drink some water, which I'm going to do right now. One of the ways that I have dealt with this issue is I went out and I bought myself a nice new tumbler. I thought it would be fun to just maybe get myself a new cup and go that route and see if that helps. I really don't know. It is something that I'm trying to figure out. So I would love it if you could leave me a comment. How do you remember to get the water in? All right, number four, I am struggling to get the recommended protein amount that I'm supposed to get. I think my doctor suggested I get like 100 grams or something to that effect of protein. And I knew out of the gate that was not going to happen. I'm not a big meat eater in general, so I am really struggling in that area. But one of the ways that I have helped improve this is the first thing I consume in the morning is a protein drink or protein powder drink. Protein powder is a must-have when you're on Tirzepatide because you can blend that with anything, with yogurt, oatmeal. And if you have any other suggestions, please leave a comment. I would love to hear it. But what I do is on Sunday, I make a fresh batch of coffee. I then put the coffee in the refrigerator and then I use that coffee Monday through Friday, and I blend it in with protein powder first thing in the morning and some ice. So I've just created myself my own mocha frappo, whatever, and I'm getting over 20 grams of protein first thing in the morning. So that has been very helpful. And I don't think I would reach as high of the protein count as I am reaching now if it wasn't for protein powder. So you definitely want some good protein powder in your house. All right. Number 5. Since changing pharmacies, so initially I started with a homeopathic doctor, and so I was going through her compound pharmacy. But when I went through my primary doctor, she put me on a Tirzepatide injection compound mix that includes vitamin B12, and that has been a game changer. Tirzepatide without the vitamin B12 is very exhausting for whatever reasons. So you're going to want to make sure you have a really good vitamin B12 in the mix, preferably in the Tirzepatide mix. All right, number 6. Injections don't hurt, but they still freak me out. I don't know if that's ever going to change. It's just really weird injecting yourself with a needle, especially now because the Tirzepatide has vitamin B12 included in the compound. It's red. It looks like fruit punch. And so it kind of freaks me out a little bit. And it's just weird, the idea of injecting something into your body. So a lot of people are going to choose the pill because that just seems a little bit easier and more natural. So it doesn't hurt, I promise. It's just kind of weird to inject yourself with a needle once a week. All right, number 7, food noise. I never really had a name for the busyness in my head when it comes to food. If you're watching this video, you probably have already been very curious about Tirzepatide, and you've probably already heard one of the major things that it does for you is it destroys the food noise. So yes, I have less food noise, but on the flip side, I have a different type of food noise in that I'm always thinking about food in the way of, have I consumed enough today? Did I meet my protein needs? What am I going to eat later? There's a lot of preparation. There's a lot of forethought into my day when it comes to food. Now, I do have 2 teenagers and a husband, so food is a big thing in my house. Sometimes I'll have 2 teenagers in the house. Sometimes I'll have 6 teenagers in the house, and they're always hungry. So I'm always thinking about food, but in a different way. So yes, the traditional food noise has disappeared, but it's now a new kind of food noise. And one of the ways that I do work with that is I use an app called Cal AI, and I track my calories, but more so I'm tracking the proteins. I'll create another video and talk a little bit more about Cal AI app because it's been extremely useful. All right, number 8, cravings change. You're still going to have cravings. It's just going to be different. I used to love cheese. Cheese and crackers was my thing. And I still love cheese, and I don't like cheese anymore. And it is a weird thing to lose that craving when you've loved something for so many years and now it's suddenly gone. And crackers. I used to love salty crackers, especially with cheese. And now I just don't have that craving anymore, which is very strange. I wish I had a craving for water. Changed is you start to actually crave healthier food. And so that's a very good feeling. You actually start to crave things like salads and juicy fruits and healthy vegetables. Your body just starts to crave the healthy. So when you get to that point, jump onto that bandwagon and ride the wave. I don't know if I said that right, but whatever. All right, number 9. It's complicated when you're on Tirzepatide and you are the matriarch of the family. As I just mentioned, I am a mom of 2 teenagers and I have a husband. And sometimes my house has no teenagers in it, and sometimes it has too many teenagers in it. And food is a big deal. So as the matriarch, I've just traditionally been the one to cook dinner. That's what I do. I cook dinner for everybody. I do the shopping, I make it available. You tell me what you want, you add it to the list, I make it happen for you. I feed my family, and I'm an amazing cook. I cook some really good home cooked meals. So I am finding it difficult to continue to be the awesome matriarch that I am when I'm not thinking. I have to kind of force myself to think about food in ways that I've never had to do before. So again, I mentioned the food noise. It's just different now. I have to put a lot more thought into planning and preparing dinners. Before, I used to just know what I wanted, and I built a meal around what I wanted to eat, and everybody loved it. And I would take into account everybody else's wants and cravings in addition to that. And so making dinner for my family has always been traditionally very easy. But now I find myself walking through a grocery store, and without a list, I really don't know what to buy because none of it is piquing my interest. So I really rely on my teenagers and my husband to let me know, what is it that you want me to bring in the house? What is it that I should make for you tonight? And I do my best to make sure that those meals meet my needs. So I start with a protein and I build around that protein. Luckily, both of my teenagers are very healthy kids. As a matter of fact, it was my son who shared the Cal AI app that I mentioned earlier. And he lost a tremendous amount of weight, and he's been working out, and he is very ripped and buffed. And he started with eating very healthy amounts of protein, and he stopped eating sugar, and he just really made some good, healthy choices. So, in some regard, it is easier because I go to the store and I just focus on protein packed foods, and I know my family is going to love it. But I almost have to remind myself, I got to deal with dinner. I might not be hungry, I might not be craving foods, but somebody in the house is, and I'm responsible for making sure that there's something on that dinner table. Now, I know the teens, the husband, they can fend for themselves. But again, I am the matriarch of the family. I enjoy feeding my family and their friends. I enjoy presenting a meal to my family. So that's not something I want to take away. I just have to put a little bit more thought into it. And my final thing that I've kind of noticed is Tirzepatide and the GLP-1 community is consistently changing. It is, again, a wild, wild west situation. And I am grateful that I found a way to incorporate Tirzepatide into my life. But I had to be open and honest. I had to start the conversation with a friend and be open and say, I'm struggling here. And she's the one who gave me the information about the doctor, the homeopathic doctor that she worked with. And then I had to learn to be open with my own doctor about my own diet needs. My dieting and health journey has always kind of been a private thing. I never really talked to a lot of people. But this community is changing, and I'm changing right along with it. I mean, here I am with the YouTube channel sharing this information with you, and that's wild. I never thought I would do this. And eventually, I'm going to tell you how much I actually weigh, which is really hard for me to expose that kind of information. So, the GLP-1 community, the Tirzepatide community, it is changing. It went from not being available to being very available. It went from being injections only to now being available in a pill form. And there's still so much to learn. And there's a lot we just don't know about it. But I'm not really fearful. I have consumed a lot of terrible things in my life. So taking this Tirzepatide injection is nothing compared to what I've done in my past. So I feel comfortable and confident with that. But it is an ever changing community, and you're going to learn a lot. And what you do learn today might be different in a year from now. So to end this is 70 days on Tirzepatide with 16 pounds loss. I'm having success. I'm excited to share it with you. I'm hoping you'll subscribe, leave a comment,